Hello everyone! In this video, I have 10 build recommendations for your Fairycore or Cottagecore Minecraft base. I'm definitely no stranger to a Fairycore or Cottagecore base, as I try to go for this aesthetic with most of my Minecraft bases, so I hope that you're able to pick at least one new idea from this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then definitely let me know, and be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. I feel like an oversized tree stump is the perfect thing to add to your base. Really, anything oversized is perfect, specifically for the Fairycore aesthetic, but obviously it fits with both aesthetics. You could choose to make it functional like I did with this tree stump. This tree stump is actually the entrance to my branch mine, so if we enter it and then open up this trapdoor, then you can see that it goes very far down all the way to the bottom of this world. I added a little window with a spore blossom inside of it just for more vibes, and of course we get all of the beautiful particle effects from that. I like how this tree stump has a lot of variety to it. It's not just a tube coming off of the ground. It really does scream tree stump to me. And we have like a little mushroom growing off the side of it. We have some glow lichen and some mossy carpet layers, and of course little bushes and lanterns and flowers, all of the cute little Fairycore cottagecore things. And it goes without saying, you don't have to make it functional if you don't want to. It still gets the point across with or without any function. Oh my god, ruining my video. For another look at a tree stump design, I built a tower coming out of this tree stump. It's certainly less tree stumpy than the first one, but I still feel like it gets those vibes across. Clearly, this is another super functional tree stump. This is actually my enchantment setup. For this one, I even sprinkled some little like mushrooms and flower pots around, which I think is just so cute. And of course, we have some more lanterns and bushes and flowers. A tree stump is also super easy to build. You basically just have to make a little circle out of logs and then go back around and add some extra little logs and slabs around just for a little bit more variety and kind of to act like the roots of the tree stump. But now for build idea number 2, and we're actually standing beside of it right now. I could honestly do an entire video about ponds. There are endless ways to add ponds to your world, and I highly recommend adding them anywhere and everywhere that you need to fill in a little bit of empty space. This one is just a really simple pond, and I could honestly come in here and decorate it a little bit more. But let me show you a bit of a better pond. If we go to my backyard here, I added a little pond, and it actually has a little axolotl, and this axolotl's name is Pikachu. There we go, Pikachu. We have some big drip leaf and small drip leaf, and also a little waterfall. I love adding myself a good little waterfall and a 2-tiered pond to my world. They are just so pretty. And this one has a little cherry tree on top of it, and those particle effects are just gorgeous. All of the vibes here. Also a little bonus build idea, but you can add a little porch swing too. Isn't this just the most beautiful, serene, peaceful backyard you've ever seen? I would love to sit right there and read a good book. But back over to the Guild SMP world to get another look at this tree stump, and clearly it is in the middle of a pond. Like I said, there are just endless ways to incorporate ponds into your world. Also, doing like a little lily pad pathway is my favorite way to add a bridge to ponds, because sometimes your ponds are small enough that you don't actually need a full-on bridge. Sometimes some little lily pads will suffice. Here's another really pretty pond that I added to this world, and this one I really tried to lean into those Fairycore vibes with the pretty frog lights with the lanterns hanging from it, and also the little brain coral on top of the trapdoors. This was also a heavy axolotl focused world, if you cannot tell. Of course, we have another waterfall here with a smaller pond up top, and here is actually a small bridge that you could add to a pond if you didn't want to do the lily pad design. And then don't sleep on those little cherry trees as well. They make the most pretty backdrop for ponds, I think. And lastly, moving on to my 1.19 world, I did this really cool pond, and this one is functional. Here's another lily pad design, and we actually have to do a little bit of parkour. Kind of difficult for me sometimes, but this one is functional because it actually has a little hidden enchantment setup behind it. If it isn't already clear, I love a good waterfall too. Honestly, I don't think I can build a pond without a waterfall. This one's extra special because it has a custom tree on top of it, and actually looking at this now, it's kind of ugly, but I was proud of it at the time, okay? This pond was built years ago, and clearly things haven't changed much for me, but we do have some little frog friends, which is pretty cute. Okay, and the very, very last pond. Again, I swear I could do an entire video just about ponds, but here is this other pond. Oh yeah, I am not in creative. I have my netherite gear on and my elytra. We'll just use free cam, but this pond was actually already here, and I kind of just terraformed the land around in order to make it two-tiered and have little waterfalls going down. I think I did a really good job with this one of really texturing the walls and making the walls look very natural. And we have some more little custom trees over here, which I find is so funny that I did custom trees in this world because I literally never do custom trees now. But moving on to build idea number 3, greenhouses. I'm having so much fun just like going around in my old worlds and looking at some of my old builds. Anyways, greenhouses can be super functional, but I think that they are also the perfect cottagecore addition to your base. And they don't even have to be huge separate builds. I built this greenhouse on the side of my starter house. So honestly, you could just pop a little greenhouse pretty much wherever. Here's a little peek at the interior of the greenhouse. We have a spore blossom, lots of little leaves up top, and obviously lots of beehives. We even have some of the new 1.20 plants. I guess they're not so new anymore. And then just some little pebbles and other little decorational items. This greenhouse over here is functional in the sense that below it is actually my pumpkin and melon farm. I just love how you can make greenhouses super, super small or really, really complex. I'll look at some more complex greenhouses a little bit later, but let's take a peek inside of this one. Again, we have those new 1.20 plants. This was my 1.20 Let's Play world after all. And then inside we have the pumpkin and melon farm. Builds are one of my favorite ways to hide ugly farms. Just plop down a cute, pretty build, and then you can place an ugly farm underneath it. That is not the first time that I've done this. Back on over to the Guild SMP world, we have ourselves a greenhouse storage building. Definitely not my first greenhouse storage buildings. I love to make these. Clearly inside we have lots of storage, but actually another pond. Look, my worlds are colliding. We have quite literally so many frogs in here, and also like this little bee area off to the side, which I feel like is such a great addition to this greenhouse so that it's not all storage building. Up top we have some glowberry vines and lots of potted plants. This color palette is also so cool with the prismarine and cherry wood. Really, you can just like pick 2 colors. I used 2 different kinds of blocks in this build and then glass. So things really don't have to be that complicated. Choose 2 of your favorite colors and then build a build out of that. And then just pop some glass in on the walls and you have yourself a greenhouse. Back on over to my 1.19 world. This is the very first greenhouse storage building that I did. This one is a little bit bigger than the other one that we just looked at, but honestly, it's still pretty simple. We also have some little alleys in here. And now that I think about it, the alleys are like the perfect Fairycore pet. But if we take a peek in here, we have tons and tons of storage, of course, but also I really tried to add as many plants around as I could, just for that extra cottagecore and greenhouse vibe. Now on to build idea number 4, fountains. We are back in my 1.20 world to showcase off this beautiful beacon fountain that I did. This is the most Fairycore build ever. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And I built a little garden around it. We have some little like hedge mazes and some little flower gardens. I don't think I've ever built a more Fairycore build than I did with this one. It's so pretty. And again, functional too because there is a fully leveled up beacon below it. it. I honestly sleep on this idea way too much because if you want to have the most Fairycore base ever, then put a fountain in it. And better yet, if there are beautiful gardens to surround it, this is just so pretty. We also have some little stony archways with lots of lanterns and glowberries and leaves. Also, I really like this lantern design that actually doesn't use any lanterns at all. Instead, we just have glowberry vines, which to me, again, feels very Fairycore. Also, planting azalea trees and cherry trees around will really just elevate your build so much. But again, I sleep on this idea a little bit too much, so unfortunately, this is the only fountain that I have to show. But let's go ahead and move on to the next build idea. Nothing screams cottagecore to me like walking around a little farmer's market with a basket to buy some flowers and vegetables. And I love how this farmer's market turned out. It feels so bustling and full of life. Let's take a look at the stalls. Pretty much I just copied the same exact stall design over and over again and just use a different color wool just for an extra pop of color. We have some white banners along the side just for a little bit more variety. And they are fully villager proof, so clearly the villagers aren't able to get out. And then I just added so many little details around, like plenty of item frames. We have flower pots and lanterns. In between the stalls, I added some little chests and other little vegetable things like some pumpkins and hay bales, and I think there might be some melons around actually. We don't have any melons, just pumpkins and hay bales. And then each of the stalls have a sign that show what we can trade the villager for. I know it says for trade, but that's not how farmer villagers work in Minecraft. So we can trade him beetroot for emeralds. And then this one, we can trade him potatoes. Obviously, this farmer's market is super functional as well. This is actually my farmer trading hall. Trading halls don't have to be these giant, massive builds if you don't want them to be. They can be as simple as a cute little farmer's market. Back in my hardcore world, I added a little market to my castle. These stalls are clearly a bit smaller because I wanted to be able to add plenty of them, and I didn't really have a ton of space up here to make giant market stalls. They also don't have any villagers in them, and I don't know if they ever will have villagers in them, but I still feel like it gets the point across, and this little market area still feels very full and alive to me. Here's a free cam peep at this market. And also, look at my castle. Wow, I built that. Yay, I'm so proud of myself. Anyways, moving on to build idea number 6, mushrooms. It's impossible to look into the cottagecore aesthetic without running into some kind of mushroom. Make them oversized and you'll get a Fairycore feel. Mushrooms are truly just the perfect little thing to add to empty areas in your base. And what's cool is you can make them so many different colors and so many different shapes. We have a taller yellow one over here, and this one is really short and flat. Obviously, you can have them growing off the sides of builds. I just used some smooth sandstone as the stem, and then underneath it I put some birch trapdoors and then some birch buttons. But honestly, now we have pale oak trapdoors and pale oak buttons, so that might be a little bit better. We didn't have that at the time that I built this. And then some glow lichen just for a little bit more natural feel to the mushroom. You could also simply just place down a diorite wall and then like a little mushroom block on top, and then there you go, you have yourself the smallest baby's little mushroom. Or instead, you could always do a sandstone wall, which I think fits my vibe a little bit more with the smooth sandstone. So honestly, if I were coming back in this world to decorate a little bit more, I would probably sprinkle some of these around. I think that would be super cute. And you could also just simply come here with some terracotta and some buttons and do that instead. Just place some little buttons around. Honestly, you could do whatever you want. See, that's the cutest little mushroom ever. One last idea, you can also do an end rod, and it's functional because you can actually have a little bit of lighting, but also have a cute little mushroom. I don't know, this one's kind of cute with a skinny stem. I like it. But that is all for build idea number 6. Let's go ahead and move on to build idea number 7, hobbit holes. We are back in the 1.20 world, and unfortunately I don't really have too much experience with hobbit holes, but I couldn't not add hobbit holes to this list. Hobbits are honestly the original cottagecore lovers, and we could stand to learn a thing or two from hobbits. But here is the one and only hobbit hole I've built, and this is just like cottagecore dream right here. And what's cool about hobbit holes is you can do literally whatever you want inside of them. This is actually my storage building, but then outside we have ourselves a little garden, we have a well, some bees. Are any bees actually living in here anymore? I'm not sure. Oh wait, there's some bees right there. Bees do live there still. But we have ourselves a wonky shaped chimney out front, which I think is perfect for the hobbit hole. And also the color palette is really cool with a smooth sandstone, and the green is this concrete powder. Yes, green concrete. And just to take a peek inside for funsies, again, this is my storage building. The vibe inside is a lot different from the vibe outside, but even if you have like a really tall mountain or something in your world, you could definitely add some little hobbit holes to it, which is really cool. You can do really whatever you want with hobbit holes. They have so much versatility. I so badly want to make a little hobbit village. I think that could be so much fun. But let's go ahead and move on to build idea number 8, chicken coops. And we'll go ahead and stay in the same world because I have the cutest little chicken coop. And as you can see, that chicken actually just went inside of the coop. I really wanted this coop to be functional for the chickens. Yes, you can build a lot bigger of a chicken coop, but this one, I really like that it's chicken sized. I used some little rails so that it looks like the chickens can walk up the rails into the coop, even though that they just jump on into the coop. They don't actually use the rail. It's just there for the vibes. And then of course I fenced them in so that they don't run out. Super easy, super simple, but honestly the perfect thing to add to your Minecraft base. And I'm going to try to scrounge up some footage for the chicken coop that I built over in Castaways. It's definitely a little bit bigger than the one in my 1.20 base, but it just goes to show that you can build a really small chicken coop or a bit of a bigger one. We are back in my 1.20 Minecraft world for build idea number 9 and 10. I know, for the northern hemisphere, it is very much almost spring, but you can never go wrong with a little pumpkin patch no matter the time of year. I think I did such a good job with this pumpkin patch. We have some larger pumpkins around, but then also just some normal sized pumpkins with some little sea pickles on top to make it look like they have stems. I really wanted to go for the fall pumpkin patch vibes with this build, so we do have like a little hay cart and then a little pumpkin stand over here. Maybe it's like a little pumpkin carving station or something. I don't know, but I think it's a nice little touch. And then again, I am all about the functional builds. So this one is actually the entrance to my pumpkin and melon farm, just like my little greenhouse was the entrance to my pumpkin and melon farm over in my 1.20 world. Also, why is this ladder so far down? Goodness, I have not been down here in the longest time, but there is the little pumpkin and melon farm. How is it doing? Oh, it's doing pretty good. I love the idea of having a giant pumpkin that you can actually walk inside of. There is this tiny little pumpkin patch that I built in front of my potion shop. Definitely not as cool as the other one, but you can definitely just like plop some pumpkins down and some flowers, maybe a little bit of coarse dirt and some stone buttons, and have yourself still a very cute pumpkin patch. Things like this are the perfect way to just fill in some empty areas in your base, and it's something different than like a pond, which clearly I place everywhere in my builds. Alright, but back over to the 1.19 world for the very last build idea. For build idea number 10, I have a little bee hut, and this one's just like a simple, almost like greenhouse looking bee hut. We have lots of little flower mounds around so that the bees have plenty of flowers to choose from, and also lots of beehives around too, not just one in the bee hut. Usually I will kind of just like plop down some random beehives around in my world. Oh no, it's raining! That is a sad way to end this video, but anyways, it's also fun to have a dedicated area to place your bees. And this little bee circle is super cute. This video is truly just reminding me of all of the cute things that I can add to my current hardcore world. We'll go ahead and outro in the guild world next to this random sniffer. Honestly, I can't remember why he's here. I'm sure he's here for a reason, but I honestly just can't remember. Anyways, I hope that you have been able to get at least one idea from this video, or at least a little bit of inspiration for your next Minecraft build. Let me know if you'd like to see a part 2 or maybe another build recommendation video. Honestly, I'm so down to do more of these. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. I hope that you have enjoyed this one. If you haven't already, then definitely be sure to like and subscribe. I hope that you all have a lovely day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!